Hey guys, welcome to chapter 5 of the Faith Family Fredericks videos vlog. Um, yeah, the Faith Family Fredericks vlog. I have bandages on my fingers because I stabbed myself in the hand like a moron at work. I'm a chef and I decided that it would be a wise idea to split some vegetable patties with a very sharp knife, and I subsequently chopped my hand up. And I'm okay though, don't worry. It's a little bit sore, but it's okay. So today we're going to be looking at my experience of Father's Day, and probably what it's like for a lot of guys who are who've wanted to be fathers, but their wives or their significant others were not able to carry to term. And I'm gonna go back to the very first one. We've experienced 3. Nikita spoke about it in chapter 3 of our vlog, and I'm gonna look at it from the father's perspective today. So I remember the 19th of November very, very clearly in my mind. Nikita told me that she was pregnant. She took a pregnancy test after I urged her a few times because she was experiencing symptoms that generally are attributed to women who are pregnant. And I remember us going to my sister-in-law's sister's house for a party, and there were a few other engagements that we were at that day where we would see the rest of our family, my brother and sister, my father, my mother, and then Nikita's family. And I remember Nikita complaining in the evening after we had told everybody and shared our exciting news that we were pregnant. I remember complaining that the stomach was sore, and I was like, okay, cool. It might just be, sort of attachment cramps, or I don't know. In my mind, I was sort of just, these are normal growing pain types of things that she would have to go through during the pregnancy. And I remember going home and thinking about the future of this child, whether it was going to be a boy or a girl, whether I was going to be a good father, whether Nikita was going to take an epidural or not. I know it's like crazy things to be thinking about at the early stage. It was really early in the pregnancy. She was only a month pregnant, or actually almost 2 months. But yeah, it was so exciting, and I was so excited. And I remember going home, putting Nikita to bed, and struggling to fall asleep because of the excitement. And eventually I fell asleep. And it was around 4:30 in the morning. Nikita woke me up, and she was in a tremendous amount of pain, and she was crying, and I knew something wasn't right, and that scared me a lot. And I remember thinking, I hope this is not something that's going to be a problem. I remember the fear and the nervousness that I was feeling. I remember the anxiety of knowing what was possibly happening. And I remember thinking, okay, we need to get to the hospital. We need to go. Nikita was terrified, so was I. It's probably one of the hardest experiences I've ever had, because I felt completely helpless, and I was afraid that this was going to be something bad. I think deep down in my heart I knew something was wrong from the beginning, and the way she was crying and the amount of pain she was in, I knew something wasn't right. Eventually we couldn't find the information about which network she was on, or which hospitals were on the network at the time. And I remember going to the hospital, rushing, driving like a madman, and while we were in the car just praying that everything was okay, and that it was just some kind of cramp, and just some kind of something normal that happened. But like I said, I knew it wasn't. Something was definitely wrong. We were sitting in the waiting room, and Nikita was bleeding heavily. It was scary. Eventually the nurse came, she took a blood test, and she was so cold and callous. I remember being very angry about that, about the way she was speaking to Nikita and I. And eventually Nikita went in to see the gynecologist. What I should note here is that they had given us a test and it was negative. And I was like, oh, please God, please let this not be what I think it is. And I remember seeing Nikita go away, and going on my knees in the waiting room alone. There was nobody else there, and I just started praying that this was not a miscarriage and that Nikita was going to be fine and that the baby was going to be fine. But all the time while I was praying, I just got this immediate sense of the fact that this was it. This baby was going to be gone. We were not going to be able to hold on to this child, and this child was going to be lost to us. It was about an hour, and the gynecologist came to fetch me. She told me Nikita was behind the curtain. I went behind the curtain, and Nikita told me that our baby was gone. I remember the pain. I remember not being able to control it, and I just broke down crying. I was trying to be strong, but at that moment, it was just too much for me. I was terrified. It was heartbreaking. Nikita was there. She was crying, and there was nothing I could do about it. The complete and utter helplessness that I felt was probably almost as overwhelming as the sadness of losing our child. After she told me, I walked out into the waiting room, and I had to go and phone everybody to tell them that we had lost our kid. I remember phoning my mom, telling her that we had lost our child, and I remember hearing the pain in her voice and hearing her cry. It was too much for me. I cried. And I think what it was is the fact that I had never been through a situation like this before. Nikita had never been through anything like this before, and there's no handbook on how to get through it. So you just have to fight every moment and just do your best. Nikita went into surgery. She came out of surgery, and that time felt like an eternity. I remember the fear of losing her after having lost the child. It's devastating. And I really hope that in me expressing the story that somebody is helped by it, and that there are men who go through it and maybe get to see this video and know that they're not alone in what they're experiencing, and that it is scary and there's nothing you can do, and the helplessness is something that you don't ever want to experience. It's horrifying. So that was the first miscarriage. That was what the experience was like. Complete and utter devastation and helplessness. Sadness that I can't possibly express in words. And so, after having told that story, I think it's important to explain to you guys, as a dude who doesn't have kids, but is a father. Father's Day is one of the hardest days of the year for me. I love my family. I love my brothers. And I love the kids that are in my life. All my nieces and nephews, watching them play, celebrate their fathers. Knowing that my kids should have been there with him, should have been here with me, but they aren't. I should be holding them tomorrow morning. I should be waking up to them, saying Happy Father's Day, Daddy. I love you so much. And year on year, since 2017, I've never been able to experience that. And even though my wife does her very best to comfort me and to make me feel loved, and my nieces and nephews also. The fact of the matter is, my kids are not here, and I miss them, even though I never got to know them. I want you to understand that it's not easy. It doesn't get easier. I mean, we don't forget that you were supposed to have children. And I want you guys to understand that it's okay to be sad about it. Guys out there whose spouses have experienced miscarriage, it's okay to be sad today and tomorrow. And on days like Father's Day, it's okay to be really sad. Don't feel like you need to be perfect and you need to be strong and stable. It's okay. You can break down, you can cry. There's nothing wrong with that. I really hope that the story gets through to somebody who's experiencing what I'm experiencing and who is going to wake up tomorrow morning expecting their kids to be there and the kids aren't there. It's okay, brother. I understand the pain. Know that you're not alone, and there are lots of people, lots of men like you who are going through the same thing. And so it's really important, guys, that we go through this together and that we raise awareness about what we are going through, and so that we can create a safe space and environment for men to feel vulnerable and to be vulnerable with each other and with their spouses. It's really important. So if you enjoyed this video today, please share it with somebody who's gone through a miscarriage, especially for their husbands, especially for the guys who are going to be struggling tomorrow on Father's Day. Let them see this video, let them understand that they're not alone, and hopefully we can start creating an environment where guys can share their lives with each other and share their lives with their spouses and with a community of brothers who understand what they're going through. So do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, and share this video far and wide so that people can become aware of what it's like to be a father without kids on Father's Day. Thanks, guys.